It's that time of the week, guys. We are looking at your Dynasty football trades.
As
We're going
always.
to give some opinions on the deals that you have made. Now, do you want your trades to be on this weekly show? It's actually super, super simple.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go to flockfantasy.com/land. That promo code LAND, it's ours, and it'll give you 30% off your membership. And if you choose the Mother Flocker tier, you've got the Dynasty Trade Show unlocked. Every week, we're looking at your trades.
Yes.
Pinned comment is where you can find some more details. But let's go ahead and start here. Shout out to the Mighty Booch. This is the first trade that we are looking at today. She says, I received Brees. Dotson was my wide receiver 4. Superflex, start 10, 12-team PPR. So Jahan Dotson, Brian Robinson, and a second for Brees Hall and a third. What are you thinking here?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay getting Brees Hall. If Jahan Dotson is your fourth wide receiver on this team, I'm assuming you have really other good wide receivers here. I know I'm a massive believer of Brian Robinson, but I'd rather have Brees Hall, and maybe Brees Hall is your X factor here, but I'm okay taking Brees Hall in the third.
Yeah. Look, I am also fine with the Brees Hall side. I don't like selling Dotson, but at the same time, if you're going to get Brees Hall, tier 1 dynasty running back, then I'm completely fine with this sort of trade. In fact, I would imagine it should cost more. So I think you've done well.
Yeah.
Styles, what's up, man? 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 tight end premium. Was staring at Komet for the longest time as my starting tight end, but felt the need to upgrade. My win now squad now includes AJ Brown, Olave, Mike Williams, Evans, Lockett. Also still have my 2024 first. Okay, so we send CeeDee Lamb a second round pick. I'm right. CeeDee Lamb a second round pick, and we receive Waller and Olave. And I'll just start with this one. I personally, as someone who has bought CeeDee Lamb a lot this offseason, I am kind of surprised how affordable he's been in deals. And I'm also on the other side of people who are trying to buy him off me. I'm surprised at the low ball offers that I'm getting. CeeDee Lamb was top 5 in targets this year, top 5 in targets per game if I'm not mistaken, hovering around I think the 18, 19 points per game mark. And for some reason, the offers that it takes to get a Jamar Chase, which I understand he's more valuable, is like it's two different worlds trying to trade for Chase and Jefferson and then CeeDee Lamb. Again, I'm not saying that CeeDee Lamb is not is as valuable as those players, but I think CeeDee Lamb is being undervalued. And to me, I like Darren Waller, but I would take the CeeDee Lamb side of this deal. And I love Olave too, but again, CeeDee Lamb is already a proven young asset who is already finished top 5 in targets, top 5 wide receiver. He proved he was an alpha last year.
Yeah.
They didn't really add anyone that's going to compete heavily with him. Like he'll still be the number 1 on this team. He'll still get 8, 9 targets a game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still so young. So as much as I love Olave, I just don't want the reason I upgrade and lose Olave is to tier to an aging, veteran tight end and Darren Waller.
I would agree there. And, with the context, he says his wide receivers AJ Brown, Olave, Mike Williams, Evans, and Lockett. I know this is a win now team, but Mike Evans is not somebody I want to lean on this year. Mike Williams is not somebody I think I'm leaning to the point where I'm fading him now because of if Keenan Allen does stay healthy and Quentin Johnson does really take a massive step in this offense, Mike Williams somebody's going to be regressing there, right? So it's not somebody I really want to lean on. And the same thing can be said about Tyler Lockett, right? Jackson Smith and Jigba now in this offense. I think Lockett still gets them. I feel like if there's anyone out of those three, I'm more comfortable with Tyler Lockett for the first half of the season. But yeah, I'd rather keep the CeeDee Lamb side first, and then the Darren Waller side. It's interesting, I don't mind Chris Olave, but could that tight end have been someone different? But I know you're competing, which makes it more difficult, right? I mean, I think could that have been a Dalton Schultz? Could that have been a David Njoku? A Greg Dulcich? All those guys are younger and not at the end, I would say, in their career. Darren Waller, 30 years old. I know he's going into a decent offense, but I would have been looking at those players, especially if you're giving up a second as well. You gave up CeeDee Lamb and a second. I would want more.
I feel like I would have maybe it would have been easier to swallow if it was just CeeDee Lamb, but even then, I probably would have taken the CeeDee Lamb side personally.
Yeah, agreed.
But look, again, we always just aim to give our most honest feedback. So I just think like I've been frustrated at the offers that I've gotten for CeeDee Lamb. So I'm trying to understand the disconnect. Let me know, guys. Am I misunderstanding something? For sure, I could be.
I guess
but CeeDee Lamb had the same amount of targets than Stephon Diggs this year. More targets than AJ Brown. More targets than Jamar Chase, and per game, Jamar Chase had more. But I mean, there were so many questions last year. Is CeeDee Lamb actually an alpha? He comes out, puts out up a top 5 season, finishes top 5 in targets on a good offense, and we're still not valuing him, I don't think, the right way. But yeah, I definitely could be understanding. But 12 team, the next one, 12 team PPR acquired the 103, and I felt I got good value overall in this deal. My squad walks the line of win now / playing for 2024 with my core being Fields, Geno, Walker, Mixon, Monty, Waddle, Judy, Dotson, Freiermuth. Still feel like I have work to do here. Okay, so he gets John Mechie, the 103, a second, the 304, sends away London and Rodgers. Look, as much as I love Drake London, I think that's a pretty good return, no?
Yeah, I mean, you get the 103 in a second, and I feel really comfortable with that. So this obviously is a different team. And with the context, I'm really comfortable with, Waddle, Jerry, Dotson as your wide receivers. I'm assuming, maybe you have 2 starting wide receivers, maybe 2 flex spots as well. And the fact that you get the 103, that's going to be really comfortable. Maybe sell, Geno or Fields or whoever, depending on who you get the 103, get some value there.
I think you could sell or you can even keep and see what happens in season. But the 103 sets you up great. I mean, you can get Bryce, you can get A-Rich, whoever you want there. At the 103, I think you did well in that trade. The Mighty Booch, 12-team Superflex Start 10 PPR. I will now have 3 2024 first. Wide receiver core post-trade is Devonta Smith, DK, Quentin Johnson, Elijah Moore. Okay, so we send away Chris Olave, Breece Hall. We get back DK Metcalf, Jonathan Taylor, and a 2024 first-round pick. What do you think about this one? I really want to know where that first is going to be.
Yeah, I want to know where that first is going to be. Off the bat, if that is a late 24 first, I'd rather have Breece Hall and Chris Olave. Let me just say that. I mean, even then, it's difficult to pass up that first, even if it's a late first. I think my biggest thing here in this trade is the DK. And that's because I kind of see him maybe taking a step back, especially with JSN here. Man, this is an interesting trade. I want to know what that 24 first is. Top 5, top 6, I'm definitely taking that side. I think it was like 110 later. It's a different conversation. But the thing is, you're not tearing down much. If you really think about it, Chris Olave, according to the community, wide receiver 8. DK Metcalf, wide receiver 12. Okay, right? The running back room, when you look at Breece Hall, running back 2. And then you look at Jonathan Taylor, running back 3. I'm convincing myself. Give me the DK Jonathan Taylor side.
Yeah. This is tough. It depends on where that first is, but overall I would say it's pretty even value there. No doubt. Yeah. JT's going to have a bounce back.
So this received first is projected mid, according to, I don't know if you saw that. I just saw that.
So if that is truly indeed mid, then I think I like it more.
Yeah.
Estero Mafia, what's up, man? I think this is the first trade we have graded of yours on this channel.
Yeah, huge.
Says made these 2 trades to get both Richardson and Young. 12-team Superflex and start. Must be 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
1 Superflex, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 1 flex only. Okay. Only had Tannehill and Zach Wilson before the trade. Have JT Eckler and Kamara at running back. And DK, Debo, Watson, Hopkins, and Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. So, okay. So it looks like...
Okay, so he sends...
These might be 2 different trades.
Yeah.
One, he receives the 104 and the 301. He sends away the 106, the 206, the 207, and a 24 second. So he clearly needed to be in a position where
he needed a quarterback.
He got quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that deal, especially because of how small your starting lineup is. You really wanted to secure a quarterback. I think ideally I would have preferred just to have the 2 seconds from this year, not the second from next year in there. But it's relatively close.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing for the other side. 103 and a 24 third for Brees Hall. I mean, that's kind of the price right now. So you get a quarterback, Brees Hall. For Brees Hall, that makes sense. So, and like you said, you still have JT, Eckler, and Kamara. So I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the team, to be honest. I know he's got JT, Eckler, and Kamara, but if that's the only depth that he has, I'm not against it. I'm just a little bit concerned because Eckler's getting to that age. Kamara, I don't have much interest in anymore. So if those are truly your only running backs, I do have some concerns, but not in the intermediate. Jared, 12-team Superflex tight end premium PPR start 10. Contending this year with Trevor Lawrence, Bijan, Brees, Lamb, DK, Adams, Devonta Smith, and Pittman. Quarterback 3 is Pickett. So it looks like he gets Dak Prescott, Dallas Goedert, the 410, sends away Jordan Love, Greg Dulcich, a 24 first, and a 4th. What do you think about this? I like buying Dak low, but I don't think this is a buy low for him personally.
I don't think it's a buy low, but this looks like this is a trade that he needed to do, especially if he's a contending team with T. Law, Dak now. And then not only does he get a better tight end in Dallas Goedert, it feels more comfortable with this quarterback, and you still have Kenny Pickett. I think what really is going to make or break this trade who is Jordan Love, right? How high is he really going to be? Because if he is not that guy, then essentially you're sending away the 24 first and Greg Dulcich for Dak Prescott and Dallas Goedert, essentially. But I think we won't know who won this trade until we know how successful Jordan Love is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And if Jordan Love is at least competent, you might regret that one. But also it will depend on where that 24 first ends up, like we talked about. Ethan, what's up, man? The QJ side has Herbert, and the Moore/Mooney side has Fields. So you get Quentin Johnston, send away DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and a 2nd-round pick.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Here's the tough part. I don't really personally have any interest in Darnell Mooney. I know you and I see that differently. So really, DJ Moore, I'm not saying Mooney is completely has no value at all. I just personally, he doesn't move any needle for me. So DJ Moore in a 2nd for Quentin, I think you can start to justify it a little bit.
You can.
But it's a relatively even deal. One wide receiver going to an offense built around the pass game. Another the other side is wide receivers who are in one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL, but we think maybe the volume will be there for them. So I think this is more reasonable than people would believe.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm still going to go to Quentin's side as much as I love Mooney. I'm just believing in Quentin's talent with, like you said, a pass-heavy offense with Justin Herbert. And as much as I believe in Justin Fields, if he's not successful and you have DJ Moore, then that's unfortunate. So I feel more confident in Quentin overall as a whole. And in this case, as much as I like Darnell Mooney, this is he is the throw-in piece here. He was the piece that just got this deal done, essentially. So sure. I'm happy with Quentin.
Okay. James Barron says both firsts are projected to be late, but not guaranteed, as we do NBA-style lottery draft every year.
So it's rigged.
So that even the league champ can get the 101. Okay, so he gets Jalen Hurts, sends away Deshaun Watson, and 2 firsts, essentially.
Wow.
Okay.
With the NBA-style draft lottery, I mean,
this is a tough one.
There's no way.
This is a tough one. I would like to know what his team looks like.
Yeah. There's no way we can really tell you what will happen here, because that can be a first pick. That could be the 101, or that could be if both of these go in the top 8 picks, I feel like that's a loss.
Here's what I'll say. I think the reason I'm so hesitant is because of Deshaun Watson. I really think he's going to recover his form this year. We've talked about this before, but every year that he's been a starter, he's finished top 5 in fantasy.
Yep.
He doesn't even need to do that. He just needs to finish top 10 to recover his form again in Dynasty. Man, that's tough. Again, it will really depend on where those 24 firsts end up. It'll depend on how many starters you have in your league. if it's a small, if it's start 8 or something, Hurts looks a little bit more attractive. But if it's like a start 10, I think I would probably take the Watson side, given how valuable those first could be.
Yeah, I would say I'm happy to take a chance on the picks and Watson, just purely based off of the chances of me somehow at least getting in the top 8. Just one of those picks getting in the top 8, right? Like now your chances just double, or not double.
Yeah.
Your chances grow essentially. So I like that a little bit better.
Yeah. 7 Goat Ring says 10 team full PPR, start 11 half tight end premium. Didn't want to move Jacobs, but I wanted my first share of Sharby. Okay. So we get Ridley, Hal, Charbonnet, and a 24 first. We send away Juju, Stafford, Jacobs. The only thing I care about on the other side is Josh Jacobs. Yep. So yeah, I would easily do this.
Yeah, I'll take your side 100%, especially if you got the 24 first.
Yeah.
So you're chilling.
There's only upside on the side that you've got. So yeah, I like it.
Agreed.
Basic Crown, 10 team, 1 quarterback, half PPR, start 9. My running back room was Bijan, Gibbs, and Sanders. Wide receiver was jammed. Sun God, London, Dotson, Addison, Burks, Tony. Have a ton of future picks in this league. Traded the 109 to get Sanders and have 5 24 first, 4 25 first, trying to accelerate the rebuild and flip lesser prospects and possibly later future first to win now assets. Okay, so let's see. Najee Harris for Quentin Johnson is essentially the trade here. And honestly, I'm fine with either side of this. Like in a startup, as crazy as it sounds, I'm going Quentin Johnston. But given the context of his team, I don't think it's crazy. But he already had Bijan, Gibbs, and Sanders.
And that's where I was gonna go. You already have the running back, so why get Najee? That means you don't is this like a 3-star running back? What is the case here? I would have kept Quentin and then rolled the season here with Bijan, Gibbs, and Sanders. And maybe you probably wanted a veteran running back instead of leaning on two of your rookie running backs here. But you're trying to accelerate the rebuild and flip lesser prospects and a possible later future first for a win now asset. So
yeah,
I feel like Najee doesn't necessarily accelerate the process too much, in my opinion. It doesn't move the needle for me. I would have kept Quentin personally, but yeah, that's me.
Last trade here is from Ethan. Looks like he gets CJ Stroud in a 3rd, sends away Mooney, Watson, Musgrave in a 2nd. And I'm pretty happy with the Stroud side if you need quarterback for sure.
Agreed.
That's relatively like even value on both sides. That is it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if you want your trades on the show every week, you know how to do that by now. But look, just because we give our opinion doesn't mean we're right.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
We're just giving our opinion and our perspective on trades and how we value players. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. All love. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, LAND, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.